De Amerikaanse president Trump heeft op 16 januari 2018 bekendgemaakt dat hij 65 miljoen US-dollars aan steun bestemd voor de VN-organisatie voor Palestijnse vluchtelingen UNRWA intrekt. De Amerikaanse beslissing komt in de nasleep van de stemming in de Algemene Vergadering van de Verenigde Naties over de erkenning van Jeruzalem als hoofdstad van Israël eind december 2017. 128 landen stemden tegen en 9 voor de beslissing van Amerika over Jeruzalem. Maar Trump had gewaarschuwd dat hij de financiële steun aan landen die niet gestemd hadden zoals Amerika wilde, zou intrekken.
Now, the U.S. has decided to withhold tens of millions of dollars in money for the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees, or UNRWA. Take a listen.
We committed a voluntary contribution of $60 million for 2018 so far. This will be divided into tranches. You bring up an additional pot of money, and that's also 2018 dollars, $65 million. That is money that will be held for future consideration. It's money that's being frozen at this time. It's not being canceled. It's just being held for future consideration.
The U.S. State Department called on other countries to step forward and do more to help the Palestinian refugees. The department also sent a letter to UNRWA demanding the agency undergo major changes. U.S. President Donald Trump had earlier warned to cut aid if Palestinians rejected negotiations with Israel. Relations between the U.S. and Palestine have been strained over the past week since Washington recognized Jerusalem al-Quds as Israel's capital. Joining us via Skype from Calgary is political analyst Robert Inlakesh. Many thanks for joining us here on Press TV. Now, as far as this freezing of aid to UNRWA is concerned on the part of the U.S., is it punishment upon Palestinians?
Of course it's punishment upon the Palestinian people. It's more like a slap in the face of the Palestinian people, of the PA, of course, furthermore. But this is no new thing for the United States. I mean, they've already recognized Israel's capital as Jerusalem. It's a further slap in the face. The PA would be ridiculous to engage in peace talks with Israel because there's nothing to gain out of it. And the United States is a puppet of Israel. And every single day it presents itself even further and further as the puppet and being dealt basically by the Israeli state. The senators in the United States Congress are completely owned by AIPAC, the Israeli-American lobby. And this just becomes ever more prevalent every single time we see a move like this. But now it's really a question of what the Palestinian people do from this point. The Palestinian leadership, of course, in the PA, the Palestinian Authority, have left the Palestinian people with no options, really. Mahmoud Abbas still will not engage in any sort of violent resistance and will not back his people even in clashes against the Israeli forces if it comes to violent circumstances. Mm-hmm. And this is really a betrayal of his own people, because the people have the right to do what they feel they need to do in order to combat the occupation.
Right. Now, let's get back to the question of funding for UNRWA. The State Department was very clear in emphasizing that this is the funds have been frozen and they're not being cancelled. And we do have these reports of this letter making demands for changes within UNRWA. What kind of changes does the U.S. wish to see?
Complete capitulation to what we want. I mean, no matter what the Palestinians do, no matter what the Palestinian organizations do, no matter what the United Nations does, it can never please Israel enough, because if you give Israel something, it wants more. It wants to have more and more and more and more. They keep on having to take and take and take and take. It's my theory that eventually they are going to win themselves to death because the Palestinian people won't be able to take this. I mean, you can keep giving them more. They want all of that land. They want the refugees to never return, and of course they're going to withdraw, force the United States to withdraw funding for the aid of Palestinian refugees, because they don't want the refugees to return. They don't want the rights of the refugees. They don't acknowledge Palestinians as even existing. And that goes back to the likes of Golda Meir and beyond her, who have said that Palestinian people do not even exist. So this is something very normal for the United States to be doing and very predictable because they are a puppet of the Zionist government.